All right, Shalom, how's everyone doing? Obviously, before we begin, we have to give a big shkayach to Yehuda Zarer. He put together this year. Um, and as you know, we're going to be learning Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, daily share, Sunday through Friday, never more than 15 minutes. Be'iyun. So let's begin. Siman Aleph Seif Aleph. So first I'll read the Seif and then we'll go and we'll discuss it. Okay. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Sabid. I've always put Hashem before me. Hu klal gadol b'Torah. This is a major rule in the Torah, major rule. Uvmailos tzaddikim, and it's the levels of the tzaddikim asher holchim lefnei Elokim, who walk before Hashem. Ki ein yeshivas ha'adam tnuosa v'asakov v'hulav hada b'vesa. Right, a person's the way he sits, the way he moves, his dealings are not the same if he's in his house. Kimo yeshivasa usnuosa v'asakov kashu lefnei melech gadol. Right, his sitting, his actions, and his dealings aren't the same if he's in front of a king. V'chein, similarly, in diburo v'harchavas piv b'yosam anshe beisa korov, the way he speaks, the way he moves his mouth, it's not the same if he's with his family, with his relatives in his house. Kemo b'yoso b'moshav ha'melech, it's not the same as if he's in the presence of a king. Why? Ki az mashkiach bevadei hakol tenuoso v'diburo. Right, because if he's in front of the king, he's going to make sure to be very particular in the way he moves, the way he speaks. Sheyu mesukanim korei, that they should be corrected. Kol shekain kasher yasim ha'adam al libo, all the more so when a person puts to his heart, ki ha'melech hagadol hakadosh baruch hu, asher melo chalaretz kavodo, that Hashem, whose glory fills the world, omid alav v'ro b'maisav, standing above him and watching his actions. Kimo shnemar, as the pasuk says, im yisaser ish b'mistarim, the pasuk says that can a person really be in hiding? Vani lo ra'enunu Hashem, and I wouldn't see him, says Hashem. No, how can that be? Hello, es Hashem v'saretz ani malay. Hashem fills the world. Obviously, he's gonna see you. So bevadai, certainly, miyat tagiya elav hayira v'hachna mipachan Hashem yisbarach shemo. He'll be overcome with fear of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, v'yivush menu, and will be embarrassed in front of him. Okay, so where's the Kitzur coming from? So if you look in the Ramah in Siman Aleph, Seif Aleph, there's a word for word of the Ramah. This is where it's coming from. But as we said, we'll start with the Gemara. What does the Gemara say? There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin, Chaf Beis Siman Aleph. Basically, the Gemara is talking there about the halacha that a king had to write a Sefer Torah for himself. So that's for sure. A king had to write a Sefer Torah for himself. The pasuk says he wrote a Sefer Torah for himself. There's a machlokus in the Gemara though. How many Sefer Torahs the king had? Right? One opinion says a king, he had one Sefer Torah in his house. That was it. There's another opinion in the Gemara that no. In addition to the Sefer Torah he had in his house, in his treasury, he would write another Sefer Torah with him. As the Gemara says, this is a quote from the Gemara, Sanhedrin, Chaf Beis Siman Aleph, L'shtei Toros. Right, the king had two Torahs. Achas sheyotza v'nechnesas imo. One he would always go out with. V'achas shemunachas lo b'beis gnazav. And one he would keep in his treasury. Osa sheyotza v'nechnesas imo. The one he would go out with, osa kamin kamiya. It was made for a protection for him. V'tola bizro. He would put it on his arm. Shnemar shivisi Hashem lenegdi sabed. Right. Shivisi Hashem lenegdi sabed. The pasuk we have, right? Shivisi Hashem lenegdi sabed is a pasuk in Tehillim, right? Who wrote Tehillim? David HaMelech. So what did David HaMelech mean when he said Shivisi Hashem lenegdi sabed? David was saying that he was a king. And the halacha is that a king, when he goes out, he has a Sefer Torah with him. Maybe that's what he meant when he said Shivisi Hashem lenegdi sabed. It's just we learn our halacha that when a king goes out, he has to have a Sefer Torah with him. Okay, fine. V'idach, but there's an opinion that holds that a king wouldn't go out with the Sefer Torah. Right? He would just have it in his house. Hai shivisi my darish be. Well, what do we do with the pasuk of shivisi then? Homi bayilek kid Rav Chana bar Bizna. Rav Chana bar Bizna. Dema Rav Chana bar Bizna amar Rav Shimon Chasida. Hamispalel tzarach shiyira atzmo ki ilu shchina kenegdo. Shnemar shivisi Hashem lenegdi samid. It's just teaching us a halacha. It's teaching us a halacha that when somebody davens, he has to imagine that the Shekhinah is in front of him. Right? That's what we learn from the pasuk of Shvisi Hashem lenegdi sabed. Not that a king would always go with the Sefer Torah, but rather it's a special halacha that when it comes to davening, you should place Hashem in front of you. You should imagine that the Shekhinah is in front of you. So we'll get back to that. But first, we'll point out what the Shari Tshuva says. The Shari Tshuva in Siman Aleph, Seif Gimel, in the Shari Tshuva, Seif Kan Gimel, he quotes the minhag that there were these people that they would put in their siddur, like a piece of paper that said in it, Shivisi Yashal Lenegdi Samid. It would have other names of Hashem, and they would put it in their siddur. But then he quotes the Sefer to be sure that says that's not a good minhag at all. First, he says you should be able to place Hashem in front of you when you daven, even without this piece of paper that says Shivisi on it. That's first. And second, he says, you put it in your siddur, it's gonna get you're gonna lose it, it's gonna get thrown away, it's gonna lead to erasing of Hashem's name. Right? That's just what's gonna happen. So then he writes there, he says, if you do want to keep this minhag, you should put it it should be on the wall of the shul, and it should be under a piece of glass to make sure it doesn't get ruined. Okay. That's just a side point, similar to this Gemara. But what does it come out from this Gemara? That two ways of learning Shivisi. One, Shivisi is that the king would always carry Sefer Torah with him when he went out. Second, that when you daven, you have to place the Shechin in front of you. So the Sefer Ashtos HaPiska in Siman Aleph points out, he's like, the Kitzur is coming from this din of the Ramah, right? The Ramah has a din that you have to put Hashem in front of you always, even if you're sitting at home, whatever, you're going about your day. He says, we don't see that from the Gemara at all. The Gemara in Sanhedrin is saying either one of two things. Either it's saying, of course, according to the second opinion of the Gemara, the second opinion of the Gemara is that Shivisi Yeshel Lenegdi Samid means that when you daven, you should put the Shechin in front of you. That's not really an all-day halacha. That's like a davening halacha. And also the first opinion that when the king would go out and he would carry a Sefer Torah with him, as the Ashros HaPiska points out, okay, fine, that's great. When you're doing such a Ma'aseh of Kedusha of carrying a Sefer Torah, you put Hashem in front of you. What's the mikor of the din that you have to put Hashem in front of you at every second, right? You might ask me, Tamid sounds like it means every second, right? So maybe that's just the pashas of the pasuk, but that's not true. We have a lot of times in Tanakh where Tamid means once a day, it just means at certain times, the pasuk says the korban tamid wasn't brought constantly; it was brought every day, right? At specific times. So maybe the same thing would apply to Shivisi Yeshel Lenegdi Samid, right? There are certain times, either when you daven or you're doing a Ma'aseh of Kedusha, like holding a Sefer Torah. That's when there's a kiyum of Shivisi. But what we're saying here, that every second, where's that coming from? So that's why the Ashros HaPiska says, look in the Gra. Look in the Gra. What does the Gra say? So the Gra says, what's the source? What's the source of this halacha that you have to, always have Hashem in front of you? Not the Gemara Sanhedrin. He says, look in the Gemara in Brachos. What does the Gemara say in Brachos? So this is on Brachos Samach Gimel. It quotes a pasuk in Mishlei. Right, the pasuk in Mishlei says, B'chal derechacha da'ehu. Right, in all your ways, but if you look in the Mitzudas David there, he says, in all your asakav, whatever you do, in all your work, you always have Hashem in front of you. So that's why the Ashros HaPiska points out, the Gemara Sanhedrin is not the source. It's not the source that we have to keep Hashem in front of us constantly. Because there in the Gemara and Sanhedrin, it's a pretty easy thing. You're holding a Sefer Torah. Obviously you're going to have Hashem in front of you. When you're davening, that's you're doing such an act, obviously. So the Ramah is saying a chiddush in the first halach. It's saying a chiddush that even when you don't have these things that are helping you to come to this awareness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's still a very great thing to place Hashem in front of you. That's why the Ramah says it's a mile of the tzaddikim. It's a very difficult thing. So yeah, and that is where they're coming from. Okay, I think we'll end there. Shkoyach everybody, and we'll continue tomorrow with Seif Beis. Okay, shkoyach.